Hello there. Have you ever wondered why our many treasured and dear personal possessions such as our phones and laptops deteriorate in performance so quickly? Is it of our daily usage, or was it made that way? Today, we will be disclosing one of the most outrageous corporate scams of the century. But first, let me introduce my group mates. They are Andre, Yihang, and myself, Jun Wei. Ironically, it is extremely prevalent in our society, and it can be seen in the things you own, use, and associate with. During the Great Depression in 1930s, economists proposed a plan to tackle the falling gross domestic product (GDP) that the world is facing. One of them thought of a plan, a very despicable plan. It's called Planned Obsolescence. Planned obsolescence is a method deliberately devised by producer to limit the durability of a product. As a result, premature consumption for a replacement is done. In other words, you buy a phone every time it starts to lag or spoil. So, what drives this idea? Planned obsolescence was deemed essential and profitable to the world's economic growth at that point of time and even till now. Perpetual growth results in economic growth, thus everyone has a job. Before planned obsolescence, producers wanted to increase their profits but had no idea how to. When the concept of planned obsolescence was introduced, it sounded like a brilliant idea to solve the problem. This is how it works. At a point of time, goods could last for 5, 10, and even 15 years. However, producers wanted consumers to purchase more of their products. So, they reduced the lifespan of their products and made consumers replace their products more frequently. This created a purchasing cycle that repeats itself much faster than usual. The increase in purchasing cycle among the consumers, producers are able to gain more and more profits. So, who was the brains behind this insidious idea? Back in time when planned obsolescence was developed in 1924, a worldwide cartier called Phoebus was established with a scheme to restrict the number of hours a light bulb can last to only 1,000 hours. They prevented companies from manufacturing light bulbs more than that number of hours by fining them. When Thomas Edison invented the first light bulb, it lasted for 1,500 hours. And there was a race to produce the most durable light bulb. Manufacturers back then proudly advertised their light bulbs lasting for 2,500 hours. But all these great inventions were put to a stop by the Cartier. Slowly, the lifespan of light bulbs got shorter and shorter and lasted only 1,000 hours. This is an example of limited functional life design. It is a concept in which producers are given a fixed service life despite having longer technical life. Next, optical discs. Laser discs, LD, are the first commercial optical disc storage medium. It could provide high-quality video and audio and was extremely popular in countries like Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Malaysia. However, producers realized that the design of the laser disc made it really cumbersome. It weighed almost a pound and had a length of almost 30 centimeters. Fueled by the increasing demand of compact disc players, manufacturers decided to focus more on the production compact discs, also known as CDs. CDs quickly replaced LDs because of their small size and higher aesthetic values. LDs has become obsolete ever since. This describes the concept of design for aesthetic, a plan that taps on reduced satisfaction of a product over time. Next, printers. Printers has always been an essential household IT gadget that provides more convenience to us instead of having to pay a visit to a printing shop to get our documents printed. We can just simply print at home. However, printer manufacturers came out with a counter chip called EEPROM in printers to specify and restrict the number of times a printer can print. After it exceeds the number, the printer will enter a locked up phase and no longer can print, although technically it can still print. It doesn't just end there. Sending the printer for a repair will cost a bomb, prompting you to purchase a new printer instead of getting it repaired. This form of planned obsolescence is called design for limited repair, whereby the price of repair often encourages the disposal of the product and the purchase of a new product instead. Last but not least, the iPhone. Apple, the most infamous perpetrator of planned obsolescence of the century. With its extensive array of products, its renowned iPhone is no exception to the idea of planned obsolescence. Let's take a step back and take a look at the evolution of the phone. It has evolved from an iPhone 3G to a 3GS to a 4 to a 4S to a 5 to a 5S and to a 6, and of course the most recent iPhone 6S. With every introduction of a new generation of iPhones, a minor tweak is made, giving the phone more functional enhancement. The most recent inputs into iPhone 6S are an upgrade camera from 8 to 12 megapixel and a brand new screen technology called 3D Touch, making it just a little better than its predecessor. Such planned obsolescence is the idea of design for functional enhancement, where it is done through the additional and enhancement of product features. These are the 4 most commonly used methods of planned obsolescence adopted in recent years.
Planned obsolescence is slowly destroying our world day by day as it brings about detrimental effects to our environment. As we are talking right now, hundreds of tons of electronic waste are being dumped off the coast of third world countries such as Ghana. Such third world countries are being used as a dumping ground as they have an abundance of land at their disposal and many other countries exploit them. Environmental impacts ranges from exposure to harmful heavy metals and toxic gases from incineration of electronic waste. Consumers pay more money for products that was cheaper in the past so that producers gain more profit. Overconsumption of products squanders away our very limited precious natural resources we have on the globe. Pseudo-functional obsolescence is another form of planned obsolescence where products seem to have an innovative improvement, but in reality it does not. One example is the varying shapes and sizes of chargers of phones. They seem to have an improvement, but in actual fact, they have no discernible purpose in the sense that all of them provide the same voltage, wattage, and current. Consumers are also unaware of the consequences to the environment when they dispose of their products by just replacing them without a second thought. Consumers also feel that they have no say when it comes to purchasing of an environmentally friendly product, as all products are also in a manner where environmental protection is not emphasized.
The idea of planned obsolescence is definitely not sustainable. This has a number of damaging consequences on the environment and society as mentioned previously. Here are some of the consequences. Consequence 1. Consumer often replace the gadgets prematurely. Most commonly seen in phones, Apple iPhone releases a new model approximately every year since 2007. Very often, we see consumers replacing their current phone for the newer, throwing away or trading in the older phones. Consequence 2. Overusing of natural resources and raw materials. Our ores and natural resources are replaced by the nature at an extremely slow rate. For example, indium, often used as indium tin oxide (ITO), is a thin film of coating primarily used for electrical conductive purposes in a variety of flat panel displays, most commonly liquid crystal displays, which are more commonly known as LCDs. Other uses include alloys and solders, compounds, electrical components, semiconductors, and research. We can see that indium is often used in our daily electronics, and the prices of indium has increased since 1970. Here is a chart to illustrate the prices of indium. Consequence 3. What the world is fighting now: the growing volume of waste. For the case of Ghana and Guiu, they are well known for being an electronic waste dump site. As you can see, if we do not have any countermeasures for planned obsolescence, which is unsustainable in the long run, the world is going to be full of electronic waste and empty of raw materials. There are numerous solutions suggested by European Economic and Social Committee to counter manufacturers that practice planned obsolescence. These solutions include encourage standardization, extend warranties, support repair sectors, raise consumer awareness. Encouraging standardization of product allows easier maintenance for individuals or for repair shops. This will encourage consumers to try and repair the items on their own before discarding them away, deeming them as unrepairable waste. Extend warranty aims to motivate consumers to bring the broken devices to the manufacturers to repair them for either a discounted price or for free. Support repair sectors aims to facilitate the supply of repair parts and affordability of repairing your items. Cheaper repairs will encourage more people to repair their items. Raising consumer awareness is by far the hardest to achieve. It requires a large number of campaign, advertisement, and be sensitive to any infringement in defamation. The last thing we would like is to fight a court case with renowned companies. Ultimately, manufacturers' goal is to make as much money as possible. Being environmental friendly is not their primary objective. All these solutions will require a lot of effort to advocate, so we ask ourselves, is it ethical for producers to practice planned obsolescence? We first look at what is ethical. Ethical is defined as in accordance with principles of conduct that are considered correct, especially those of a given profession or group. One option of coping with changing needs driven by culture, fashion, or function is designed for adaptability, which means we want to have products that have traits such as being upgradable in terms of hardware or software, user-friendly, and repair-friendly. For example, to be able to use the same computer that is upgradable from Windows XP to Windows 10, a replaceable battery, and a repair-friendly laptop. This means that the cost of producing a laptop will increase, and hence the profit of the producers will fall, making them unhappy. As consumers, this is what we should be fighting for. All these are easier said than done. The best way for consumers to remain vigilant and show less support for new products that focuses on design that has little upgrade capacity. Remember, the next time when you are out to buy a product, think of planned obsolescence. Thank you.